So welcome again to everybody to another webinar. So this month's webinar is on the Mozy Support. So basically what we'll be looking at this month is how to get support for your Mozy software, how specifically you can contact support, the different aspects of support. And we'll go into that in more detail in a moment. Firstly, I'd just like to welcome everybody back to this month's webinar. For anybody who hasn't been on one of our webinars previously, we do these webinars on a monthly basis. And what we do on these webinars is, we'll go through a brief presentation. I'll then go through a walkthrough so that you can see what we've been talking about. And then I'll leave the remainder of the section opened to the Q&A. So what we're talking about there then in the Q&A is in the questions section that you'll see in the webinar software. You can submit your questions there, and you can do that at any stage throughout the actual presentation. So you can take if you think of a question at any point, do put it into the question section. And once I get to the Q&A, I will look to try and answer as many questions as is possible. And we'll try and keep the questions about the topic. So I will look to answer questions on today's topic first and foremost, and then we'll go and look to the other questions that are actually posted as well. If I can answer a question, I will look to post it to somebody who will be able to get me the answer within the organization, and I will get back to you. I do have everybody's email address from their registration, so I will be sending out a recording of today's session also, just so that you have it for reference as soon as it is hosted on our support website. So as I said, that was the breakdown of our webinar, how we'll break down. I do encourage as well, obviously, any feedback you may have, be it at the end of today's session or if you want to send me an email afterwards. But any feedback is greatly appreciated and welcome. If you have any ideas about topics that you'd like to see covered in a future webinar, please do share them with us, as we really do appreciate them. So it gives us a few new ideas to see what people actually would like to partake in or would like to see delivered. We want to make these webinars about content that you or customers would like assistance with. So as I mentioned, today what we're going to go through is the support feature of Mozy. So we're going to look at support.mozy.com, which is our support website. We're going to look there at the various options that are available to you to get information and knowledge, be it from the Knowledgebase, the community forums, or actually just opening a case from the actual website. Okay, so we do have multiple options there. And rather than go through them in a slide deck here, I'm actually going to go straight into a walkthrough in today's session. I know it's slightly different to what we would normally do, but I think this topic definitely is deserving of the walkthrough straight off the bat, because there is a lot to actually go through. So as you can see on screen here, this is our support website, so support.mozy.com. It is a task-oriented website. So what we've tried to do here is to preempt you and categorize areas that you may need assistance in. So to make it as easy as possible for when you come on here and look for something, that it is very straightforward and easy for you to see what it is you're looking for. So as you can see here is support topics. It's broken up into getting started, setup, so like talking about your configuration, if you have billing inquiries, restores inquiries, sync and mobile, and so forth. So let's say, for example, we go to restore. That will open me up into a separate page, and it will give me some restore related knowledge base articles and videos to show me how to go about restores. It'll also give me some frequently asked questions, troubleshooting any restore issues I may have, and then discussions as well that are happening on the community around restores. Okay, so you see it gives you a lot of information here straight off the bat that you can get from just clicking on one of those tiles on the home page. You'll see then up on the left hand side that you have those same tiles now listed along here. If you were to go to getting started, it will give you more detailed information. Okay, so in terms of getting started, if you are a Mozy Pro customer or you're a Mozy Home customer and you want to just see specific information for your product type, you can change the product here to Mozy Home or Mozy Pro or Mozy Enterprise. And that will give you specific content that's targeted towards you as a user, which will include the steps that are given to you will be designed for Mozy Home customer. The videos and the images that you see will be using the Mozy Home or the Mozy Pro software so that you can see, so it will show you exactly what you will see yourself as you're going through the steps. So as I say, the support website, it's task oriented at the front. As you can see here, when you come straight onto the support topics, it's the first thing you'll see. If you scroll down, it will give you information about contacting support, so where to go to create a new case, to check on your existing cases, or to open My Support. You can also access My Support from over here, and we'll look at that in more detail in a moment. First, I want to start here is in the community. So I'm going to open up the community. So our community are basically our forums, and this is where we have announcements. We have additional information around certain topics. So in the community, it's more it's a community spirit in that we encourage users to share their knowledge on the software or their knowledge of any particular issue they've encountered, and to discuss any potential issues that they may see with other users. It's also a great area for you to find some quick information. If you don't have, say, this morning, you don't have a spare 20 minutes to contact support, the community is a great place to pop onto real quick and see if there's a resolution to the issue that you're seeing, or there's some knowledge around the issue that you're seeing, so that you can actually, I suppose, attempt those steps yourself real quick while you're doing your other tasks that you have to do that morning, and if to preempt your contact to support. Not saying that it's going to, not saying that you don't have to contact support. It's just an alternative if you don't have the time at the moment to spend reaching out to support. You can come in here, check some topics, and you can also post your own questions. So you can post a question and go away and come back in a few hours and see if anybody has responded to that. It's not just users that are going to be in the community either. So we also have our support staff as well moderate the forums, and they keep an eye on the forums, and they have dedicated times throughout their day to be actually on the forums moderating it, to see how discussions are going and if the correct information is being shared with our users. So it is a very useful place. You'll see here the different topics. You'll notice, so they're broken down into Windows, Mac, Linux, and so forth. You'll also get some general topics. And then below that, then you have some tutorial areas. So if you open up the tutorials, you'll see additional tutorials for Windows, for the admin console. So these are video tutorials to take you through some of the common things that you may see with Mozy. Okay, so things like how to attempt to restore, how to select files for backup, and so forth like that. You'll also notice the top one there is our webinar. Okay, so in here you will find all of our previous versions of our webinars. So if you open that up, you will be able to go back and see some of our previous webinars, and you'll be able to review them from here. When I send out the link to the webinars after, so in a couple of days' time when I send those out, I'm linking to these webinar, this community page on our support website. So if you're wondering where that's, if you're wondering where other webinars are stored, past webinars you may have attended that you want to have a look at, they are all stored on here in our webinar section of our community. Okay, so that'll give you some additional help there. If you scroll down as well, then you have an idea exchange where you can submit a new idea. So if you have an idea for a product improvement or something that you think will benefit additional users, then you can submit that idea here to our idea exchange, and those ideas are constantly monitored to try and better improve our service as to how our users are using it. So it's definitely worthwhile. It's definitely something I would encourage you to do if you see things that are I suppose small ways that you think the service could be improved and that could benefit others. I would definitely recommend putting it in there and sharing it around. There's also the blogs here. So there's a community blog, there's additional sales questions, and the community blog is quite useful. It goes through some recent topics. So there's new blogs going up on a regular enough basis. So every kind of couple of days and nearly every week we would have new content going up here and the community blogs are predominantly written by our community moderator, Sean, and if he's not specifically writing an article himself, he's working in collaboration with some of our support agents for new content on the community blog. So there are some very interesting articles in there around how to, select backup sets, how to increase your storage on your account, and then another number of other items around contests and so forth that you can see there, and how to help someone recover after their computer is stolen or lost. So there's a variety of different things that the blogs cover. They also cover some of our new I suppose product features and stuff like that when they come up. There's blog articles put in there as well. So this is just one aspect of the support experience that you can look through for yourself. So the next thing I'm going to move to is our Knowledgebase article. So our Knowledgebase is more specific. It's tied into what we had looked at a while ago, the detailed information we saw at the start about topics. Okay. From our Knowledgebase home, we can actually search for specific things that we're seeing ourselves. So for example, if I type in file system and hit search, it'll return me articles that are relevant to what I've typed in. Okay, and these are Knowledgebase articles that are created, edited, and updated by our support agents. So I suppose the term I like to use when I'm talking about the Knowledgebase is that it's almost like a living organism, in the sense that it's constantly evolving. We don't have a Knowledgebase that's just static. It's not. You may go onto a Knowledgebase article today, and in 2 or 3 days' time, if there's something that needs to be improved in it, it will have been improved and it will have changed slightly. So there's always incremental changes happening to our Knowledgebase, and we're consistently updating. We're updating existing articles. We're removing obsolete articles that are no longer relevant to constantly give, I suppose, the most up-to-date information for our users. And you can see that in some of the information that you will see on the Knowledgebase if you go searching for it. So as you can see, there is a lot of information there on our support Knowledgebase, and there is a vast variety of articles in there. Okay, so what I would encourage you to do is to have a look at any stage. Again, it's just an additional feature for yourself if you don't have the time to actually open up a support chat case or to phone into support and talk to a support agent, and you just want to attempt something pretty quick in your own time. You can come to the Knowledgebase and search. If you're getting a specific error message, open up the Knowledgebase, search that error message, and it will give you some of the basic first off steps for that error message. The advantage there as well is that if you've carried out those steps and you then do contact support when you do have some time to do that, is that you can tell the support agent, look, I've attempted the steps that were outlined in the Knowledgebase article already, and that just allows the support agent then to accelerate the troubleshooting experience. They don't have to attempt those steps again, so they can jump to the next step with you. Okay, so what we're looking at there then for the Knowledgebase, as I say, is it's a constantly evolving catalog of various articles on different topics, and I would encourage you to have a look there. The documentation section then is more specific. Okay, so the documentation is more the I suppose the official documentation that goes along with the Mozy software. You get a user guide, so you have the Mozy user guide here, which will take you through in a very, I suppose, discuss in more like in more of a manual sort of way. So it'll be more like a technical manual of breaking down absolutely everything in the software. So it gives you an overview, different accounts, the Mozy security, how to get Mozy, sending your files to Mozy, the breakdown there, what happens in that process. Okay, so if you're looking for a more technical, in-depth discussion the on the software itself, then the documentation section is maybe where you want to go. But if you're just looking for troubleshooting steps or information on the software, the knowledge base will equally be as useful. The knowledge base will give you the same technical information, but it will give it on it'll give it on a user-friendly format. So rather than being just strictly giving you information, the knowledge base will actually give you the information, but it will also give you the steps and how to replicate that yourself so that you can attempt it also. So that is a major advantage from the knowledge base articles as opposed to the documentation. The documentation, I suppose, for want of a better comparison, the documentation is a very formal setting, whereas the knowledge base is a bit more informal. Okay, but equally both have very good information there. It's just depending on how you prefer to consume your information. Some people will prefer to go into the real detail with the documentation. Others would prefer to get the straightforward step-by-step guide with the knowledge base. And then others again will prefer to actually go to the community and go to the tutorial section and go through some video tutorials, because at the end of the day, all of us interpret and learn knowledge in a different way. So that's why we try to give as many options to our users as possible in order to interact with the information and the knowledge that we would have around the products. So they're the kind of, I suppose, different aspects that you can interact with directly from the support.mozy.com screen. The next one that you can look at then is the My Support. So again, this is just another option. Obviously, it's the option that allows you to interact with a support agent. But again, I see it as an advantage in the sense that it's another different type of learning. Okay, because you're getting to interact with a support person, you're getting them to explain the cases or your case that you may be having and the issue that you may be having. They can give you a step-by-step walkthrough of what you're seeing and so forth like that. So there's a combination of the different types of learning that you can see on support.mozy.com. There's the combination of the knowledge, but then there's a kind of combination as well of having a tutorial of the support agent being able to remote into your computer or give you step-by-steps and really break down in a more personalized way the steps that you need to do rather than just following a knowledge base article. And again, it's all to increase the various options for our users in how they can actually interact with us here in support. So you'll see here when you log into your My Support webpage, the first major thing that you will need to know, obviously, then is your support ID here. If you're a Mozy Pro customer, this is what you would use for when you dial into support. You will be asked for your Mozy Pro, your Mozy Support ID so that you can access the phone system. For Mozy Home users, they will have the create option here, and they will have the live chat option here. They won't have a phone option for Mozy Home customers. It's not something that we offer currently for Mozy Home customers, phone support. The three options you see on screen here then obviously will give you the different information. For Mozy Pro customers, they can click on the phone and we'll give them the relevant phone numbers that they need to use to dial. And obviously the support ID is very important. For a live chat, which is available to both Mozy Home users and to Mozy Pro users, I would highly recommend. It does give you instant access to the support agents. It works on a round robin system so that we can ensure that the chats are picked up as quickly as possible. And it just allows you to interact with a support agent in a live environment. The advantage to that is that because you're there on the other side of the screen to the support agent, if they need to do a remote session to see what's happening on your machine, then they can set that up straight away. If you go down the route of creating a case, what will happen is you'll submit your case and it will be picked up from the support queue and a support agent will get back to you then. So it's going to be a staggered interaction. If you're okay with that, if you don't currently have the time to do a live chat, then that obviously is your best, I suppose, point of action. If you do have some time to spare, then I would recommend diving onto a live chat and interacting with the support agent there and then, because it will speed up the troubleshooting process for both you and the support agent, because they'll be able to interact with you in a live basis. So on the left hand side here, you will see the My Cases section. You can check the cases that you have. You can just decide to how you want to filter those out. For a Mozy Home user, you will see all the machines under your account, and it's the same for a Mozy Pro administration user or a Mozy Pro user. You will see the machines that are tied to your account, and you will see them here, and you will see the cases that have been opened for them. So if you have a Mozy Home account or a Mozy Pro account, and you have 3 devices or 4 devices backing up on your account, then you'll see any cases for any of those 4 devices here. Okay, so you can reopen, if you have a case that's closed here, you can open the case and you can preview, or you can review what was the case. Okay, and you can see any information that's on the case there. If you're already working on a live case, then that case will show up here, and it won't obviously show as closed, but it will show as opened, and you can interact there if you want to. If you don't want to be emailing directly from your email address, you can do that and interact with here, and I'll show you that there in a moment. So what else you'll see? So I'm just going to show you what else is here on the home screen in the My Support section before we go into creating cases and accessing live chat. Okay, so below that you'll have a log analyzer. So it'll tell you any logs that you may have analyzed previously, and then the log analyzer is here. And all you need to do is drag and drop the Mozy log file in here, or you can use the upload, which will just give you an interface of browsing to find the file and then uploading. The log analyzer will take the log file that you have on your machine. It will give it a quick scan and it will give you some feedback on that log. Okay, so if we click on any one of these here, so let's click on this last one here, it will give a log report similar to this. Okay, so it'll give you the machine name, the product, the client version, okay, the operating system version that you're using on that machine, when the last backup was, and then the last few backups. It will then give you below that any error messages that it picked up in that log. Okay, and then what you can do is if you click on this here, it will actually take you directly to the Knowledgebase article that's relevant. Okay, so it will bring you to the Knowledgebase article and give you some troubleshooting steps that you can attempt yourself. Again, a useful one to use if you're under time pressure yourself and you want to have a quick look at what's going on with the log file. It will also give you additional information, like if you're not running the latest version of the client, it will inform you of that. And then as well as that, this is obviously an old log, so it's telling me that this log may be out of date and a backup may not have occurred in the last 7 days. So it's letting me know that there could be something wrong because there hasn't been a backup in so long, and this log file is showing that the last entry was the 27th of July this year. So again, it'll give you information throughout. So the additional option, then you have the additional information you get here then is a health score, and this will give you this health score is based on, if you are a home customer, it's based on all the computers or the devices that you have underneath your account. If you're a Mozy Pro administrator user, it's going to give you the health score for absolutely all the users underneath your account. So that could be anything from 5 users up to 50 or 60, or even more, and it will give you that information. And overall here it's telling me my overall health score is a B because 95% of my backups are successful and only 5% are failures. Okay, so if I'm having any trouble, so what I can do then is if I want to look, okay, which machines are having the failures, I can click on that 5% and it will open up a machine health tab for me here, and it will give me a breakdown here. Okay, and it'll give me the errors, what are the errors that I'm seeing, and then it will show me the machines that are getting those errors. Okay, so I can have a quick look and I can see when was the last backup date. Because this is a training account, a lot of these are old backups anyway. But if this was me as a user, then I could see straight away, okay, well, this machine hasn't run a backup since February of this year. What you can do then from the right-hand side here is that you can create a new case directly. You can analyze the log file for this machine. You can view cases and see if there's any cases already open for this machine, or you can open up a live chat with support in relation to this machine. Opening the support case or opening the live chat with support, the advantages there is that it already populates the information around the machine. So support will get that information straight away. For the live chats, they'll be able to see it, and it'll also populate it when you're creating the case. So it is of benefit if you're having a particular issue to come in here, because it will do some of the populating of the case for you, which is of use, obviously. Okay, so there you can see it's just a simple click and you're into the machines that are having an issue. Okay, if you want to, again, if you want to look at the overall report, you can click on here and it will show you all the machines that you have. As you can see, there's a couple of pages of them there. You can go across and so forth, but each one of them have all the same support task options. Just as well, to make note, the analyze log feature here is going to pull the log file that we have on our servers. So that may not be, if you were, for example, getting a cancel error or connection error where a backup wasn't able to run, it may not be the latest version of your log file, because the Mozy log file that's on our servers is uploaded at the end of each backup. So if you've had a backup, if you've been running a backup for the last 2 or 3 days, and that has been failing, then it may be that the latest log file that we have online is not up to date. So you just have to upload the latest version of that log file from your computer. Okay, so that's just the health screen. Again, very useful if you have a number of machines on your account to quickly see which ones are having failures, or even if there's having any warnings. Okay, below that then you have your user preferences where you can change your email preferences. Okay, so you can go in there and if you want to change your email preferences, you can. So do you want to get any outage notifications, maintenance notifications, release notifications? You can input your email address for those if you wish to. Okay, so moving to opening support cases. Obviously, we're going to look at here the 2 features that are available to both Mozy Pro and to Mozy Home, and that is the create case feature and the chat feature. Okay, so the create case feature, if I click on that, I get the option here to create a new case. I click on create new case. The device, okay, I can input the device if I have it. And again, this is why I say from the health report window, it's more beneficial because that would be auto-populated. Okay, so my case reason, I want to assist with, let's say, assist with Mozy Home account for contact number. So you would input your contact number, so 1234. There's my email address. The subject of it is webinar test case, so that we know, so people know that there's not a case that they have to worry about. And then if I want, then I can, from here, if I have some of my log files collected for support, I can add them in here. I can choose them directly from here, add them in, and they will be uploaded. Okay. Once I filled in that subject, it can give me, it will look to auto-populate here. So if I was to put in here file system, okay, and once I click off there, it will show me some related articles to see if they're of any benefit to me before I actually create the support case, just in case. Okay, it's just in case you haven't had a chance to look at the knowledge base already. It'll give you some articles there to see if any of them will resolve your issue. Okay. If not, then you just come in here and you give a description. You say, hi, I need assistance selecting my initial backup. And you can, and so forth. Okay. So I'm just going to put back in there before I submit it. Thanks, Niall. And hit submit. Now, because I don't have a device highlighted in there, okay, if I'm a home user and I have 5 or 6 devices underneath my account, then the first question I'm going to get back from support is most likely, okay, which device is the affected one? Okay, so which device is having the issue? So we can preempt that and get the ball rolling a lot more smoothly if we use something like the health score here and create a case directly. Okay, so if we come in here and we create a case directly, so I'm just going to, actually I'm going to go into, back out here, just give me 1 second. Okay, and we'll search for device. So let's say IRC, I believe. Here we go. It's my own machine there. Create a case on this one. You see straight away it's populated there. So now straight away, if I was to submit that case, the support agent knows exactly which machine is having the issue. Okay. If I go back in here again, and it's just a small thing, it's not anything major, but it does, again, it just accelerates the troubleshooting process for you. It takes, maybe if you're using an email case, it may take off that extra email, which, you know, by the time you receive our email and by the time you have a chance to reply back to it, that could be an extra 2 or 3 hours, or even an extra day sometimes, depending on how busy you are in your own day, and by the time you reply back. So they're just small things, but they can speed up the process for you, which is I think is a massive benefit. Again, if I decide to chat with support, okay, it opens up a new window for me here. Again, it gives me information, my information. Again, if I input the subject, okay, if I input the subject, I put in webinar test, and let's let the person know they're live. And we'll just go other. And if I have a live case opened, I can select that case. So if I have a case opened, I can open that case. I can input it there so that the support agent knows that, okay, well, here's the case that I'm referring to. So that the advantage there is that, again, when you're coming into live chat, is that support agent then has that case opened. They can review it and they can get up to speed before they start the conversation with you. Again, it just speeds up the troubleshooting process for you so that you're not having to repeat everything that you may have repeated previously. Okay, so if I submit, okay, it connects to me, it put me in a hold until it connects me to an agent, at which point the agent will come back to me and we can have our conversation. And at any point then there's a little save icon. So you will see a little save icon. If you want to save the transcript of your chat out, then that can be done. Okay, so there are some of the support features that you will see within the My Support section. Okay, so it is a useful area to get accustomed with, so that you can get used to the interactions that happen there. If you feel that you need additional assistance outside of the knowledge base, outside of documentation, then this is where you'd go to open that support case, or you go to open that live chat, or if you're a Mozy Pro customer, to get your support ID to make that phone call. So that is all I have to show and to present on today. So I am going to leave the remainder of the time open to your questions. So if you do have any of those, please do pop them into the question window, and we will try and answer as many as we can before the end of today's session. If you don't have any questions, that is okay too. Thank you for your time. It is very much appreciated. If you don't have any questions and you may have some feedback for us, I would greatly appreciate it. If there's any feedback around any aspect of today's session, be it the pace at which we went through something, the content, if you'd like to see something specifically yourself in a future session, then I do really appreciate any feedback you can give at all. It is greatly appreciated.